Good morning, everybody. Yesterday we dropped at page number 33, exactly at the center. Here, at this particular point, we had finished, and now we shall proceed on. So, my dear children, you must have opened your books, and now we shall continue. Till now, we have read that Dr. Sadao became ready to operate upon the body of the injured American soldier. Right? Now the operation began. Let's study from this particular point. Okay? At this moment, Hannah choked. Hannah's throat blocked, I think. What happened actually? When she saw the blood coming out of the body of the American soldier, somewhere she felt quite irritated. And what happened then? He looked up and saw her face the color of sulfur. Sadao looked up and he saw that Hannah's face had become absolutely yellowish. She was feeling giddy. Oh, what's happening to her? Hey, don't faint, he said sharply. He did not put down his exploring instrument. Means he did not stop a little while just to take care of his wife, because he was absorbed in his mission of doing the operation. Yes, said, if I stop now, the man will surely die. He clapped her hand to her. She clapped her hands to her mouth and leaped up and ran out of the room. What did she do? What did she do? She just put her hands on her lips, on her mouth, and she ran outside. Why? Because she was about to vomit. She could not see the flow of blood. Right? So outside in the garden, he heard her retching. Retching means vomiting. What do you mean by this word retching? Retching here stands for vomiting. Okay? This retching. Retching stands for vomit. Okay. But he went on with his work. He didn't care. He was busy in his work, no? So much absorbed he was, and so much devoted to his profession this doctor was. It will be better for her to empty her stomach. If his stomach gets empty, certainly that would be better for her, he thought. He had forgotten that, of course, she had never seen an operation, but her distress and his inability to go to her at once made him impatient and irritable with this man who lay like a dead under his knife. What? Now, somewhere he was getting irritated. Irritated? Why? Because he was not able to tend to his wife. She was vomiting outside, no? And he was becoming impatient also. Why? Just because of this fellow, he had not been able to take care of his wife. Next page. Come to next page. Page number 34. Okay? This man, he thought, oh God, there is no reason under heaven why he should live. Means, why I am saving this fellow? I should not. He is giving me all sorts of trouble. He put me in the dilemma, and now he is becoming the cause of the frustrations of the servants and even his wife also. Why should he? And moreover, he is my enemy. So there is no reason that I am saving him. Still, he is doing. Unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless, and he proceeded swiftly. Ruthless What do you mean by this word ruthless? Yes, unkind. Ruthless stands for absolutely cruel. He became cruel. And he proceeded swiftly, fast, moved fast. In his dream, the man moaned. Moaned stand for cried. But Sadao paid no heed except to mutter at him. Sadao didn't pay any heed. Heed stand for attention. But he muttered at him. Muttered at him, spoke to him. Groan. He said, groan. Groan stand for cry. Cry if you want to cry, he muttered. Groan if you like. I am doing this for my own pleasure. I'm not doing this for my own pleasure. What is he not doing with his own pleasure? Yes, he's not doing the operation. In fact, I don't know why I'm doing it. He's talking to himself rather, not to that fellow. Why? The door opened and there was Hana again. Immediately she asked, where is the anesthetic? Anesthetic? The agent or the medicine that makes someone unconscious. She asked in a clear voice. Sadao motioned with his chin only. Motioned with his chin. He just pointed out at the place where Anastasia was lying with his movement, with the movement of his chin. He just showed his that anesthetic to Hana. It is as well that you came back, he said. The fellow is beginning to stir. Oh, thank God you came back. He is beginning to stir. Stir means move. He had the bottle and some cotton in her hand. But how shall I do it? She asked. Simply saturate the cotton and hold it near his nostrils. Dip the cotton into the just make it wet. This cotton would be made wet with the medicine and just hold it near his nostrils. Nostrils, openings of the nose. Sadao replied without delaying for one moment at the intricate detail of his work. The intricate detail. Intricate means very complex. Complex. How that would work, he had to show. When he breathes badly, move it away a little. He told her. Means if he starts breathing badly, you are putting it near his nostril. When the cotton dab, when she would put there, if he started moving or breathing very badly, so she had to remove that. This was the instruction given by. She crouched close to the sleeping face of the young American. Crouch. She, with her folded legs, she sat near the injured fellow. It was a piteously thin face, piteously, very miserably, very poor. She thought, and the lips were twisted. The man was suffering whether he knows it or not. Watching him, she wondered if stories they heard sometime of the sufferings of prisoners were really true. They came like flickers of rumors. When she was sitting there, she started thinking about various stories that she heard about the tortures being inflicted upon the on the soldiers by the enemies. Whether those stories were true, she started thinking about it. Suddenly, those incidents, stories came like flickers of rumor in his mind. Told by word of mouth, told by one or the other. Means she was not so much confirmed who told. Word of mouth, and always contradicted. All those stories were contradicted. They had different opinions, contradict each other. counter opinions these stories had. Means one said it was true, the other story uh, created some confusions or created some doubts in it and proved it wrong. That was a contradiction. In the newspapers, the reports were always that wherever the Japanese armies went, the people received them gladly with cries of joy at their liberation. But sometimes she remembered such men as General Takima, who at home beat his wife cruelly, thought no more mentioned it now that he had fought so victorious a battle in Manchuria. Oh God. She heard about various stories about General Takima. General Takima, who was the head of the state of Japan at the time. So she heard so many stories in newspapers, rather she read so many stories. The Japanese army was known to be very kind-hearted. Wherever they went, so people greeted them, welcomed them very happily with the cries of joy at their liberation at their freedom. Wherever the Japanese army went for war, they were welcomed. And now, this is what I want to explain here, that often during war times, all sorts of means of communication, they become favorable for the home country. And these bulletins, these newspapers, they just I would say make so many fake news in favor of their country, that the confidence of the army that may remain constant, and they can fight against the enemy with all valor and vigor. So such sort of fake stories, they were released by these newspapers. This was the reason that she always now she was contradicting the stories that she had heard. Why? She knew very well about General Takima. Why? Who at home beat his wife cruelly. Oh my God! A person who beat his wife cruelly, would he ever be polite to an enemy? No way. So that's why she said that these stories were contradicted. These thoughts were contradicted. Though no one mentioned it now that he had fought so victorious a battle in Manchuria. Manchuria is a neighboring state of Japan which was won over by Japan, right? If a man like that could be so cruel to a woman in his power, would he not be cruel to one like this, for instance? No, this is the thing that I wanted to discuss with you, my dear. If a woman under his power was beaten up every day by General Takima, so would he show any sort of mercy on person like this prisoner of war? Means he must have been treated very badly, right? This is a good question that may arise in your question paper for annuals even. Now move ahead. Let's start reading from this part. Okay. She hoped anxiously that this young man had not been tortured. It was at this moment that she observed deep red scars on his neck, just under the ear. She was sitting very close to him now, so she saw some scars under his ear, and then she guessed somewhere that the man must have been tortured by the Japanese army. Those scars, she murmured, lifting her eyes to Sadao. Means she wanted the explanation. Hey, look, Sadao, these scars are there. Oh, but he did not answer. At this moment, he felt the tip of his instrument strike against something very hard. What does it mean? He was busy in operation. He was in search of the bullet that had been inserted. So suddenly he felt joy. Why? Because now he had seen, he had the instrument that he was having in his hand that struck something hard inside the body. Means he had reached his destination. Something hard dangerously. Page number 35. Dangerously, very close, very near the kidney. All thought left him. He felt only the purest pleasure. Why purest pleasure? Because he was a doctor and he has reached his destiny and he was about to get success in his operation. Such a doctor he was. He probed means searched. Probed here stands for search. He searched with his fingers very delicately, very softly, familiar with every atom of this human body. His old American professor of anatomy had seen to that. Had seen to that means had ensured that that knowledge, what ignorance of human body is the surgeon's cardinal sin, sir. During his classes, the professor of anatomy, you understand? The knowledge of all parts of body is that science is called anatomy. Medical students must know, है ना? They must be knowing rather. So he immediately learned the words of his professor, who always said, कि ignorance of human body is the surgeon's cardinal sin, absolute sin for a surgeon if he does not know any part of the body. He had thundered at the classes year after year. Thundered at, he had told, he had explained, he had hollered in the class these words. Means always reminded the students that they must know it. To operate without as complete knowledge of the body as you had made it, anything less than that is murder. If you are working upon a body, if a surgeon is working upon a body without the complete knowledge of it, certainly that would be a cardinal sin, and that is nothing less than a murder. So these were the words that he always remembered. It is not quite at the kidney, my friend, Sadao murmured. It was his habit rather. It was his habit what? To murmur to the patient when he forgot himself in an operation. My friend? Oh God, he always called his patients. And so now he did, forgetting that this was his enemy, not his friend. But what does it show? That Dr. Sadao forgot all inhibitions, all differences, all you can say thoughts about the enemy when he was on his mission, on his work of saving the life, like a true doctor. He came to his own, just like other patient he was being treated. So that's why he said, and it was his habit that he always called a person lying before him, the patient, his friend. And so what he called him, though he was his enemy, but he called him his friend. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise of incisions, the bullet was out. Incisions? What do you mean by this word incisions? Cut in the body. Precise means accurate. Okay, the man quivered means trembled, कांपा बहुत तेजी से, but he was still unconscious. Nevertheless, he muttered a few English words. He spoke a few English words. What? Guts, he muttered, again choking. They got my guts. Sit down, Anna cried sharply. Hush! He silenced her. The man sank again into silence, so profound, so deep that Sadao took up his wrist. Immediately he held him by his hand, hating the touch of it. Yes, there was still a pulse, so faint. He felt the pulse of that man. Yes, it was working somewhere. So feeble, so weak it was, but enough to make him to ensure that he was living. If he wanted the man to live, to give hope. Oh, but certainly I do not want this man to live, he thought. Why I have saved him? Why I'm going to save him? But there was no answer for him. No more anesthetic, he told Hannah. He turned as swiftly as though he had never paused from his medicines. He chose a small vial. Vial, you understand? A syringe. Yes. Sorry, a small, you can say, a capped container that had some, you can say, some medicines were there. A small vial, and from it filled a hypodermic. Hypodermic stands for a syringe, you know, and thrust it into the patient's left arm. Means he was injected, a medicine was injected into his body through hypodermic. Hypodermic, a syringe. Then, putting down the needle, he took the man's wrist again. The pulse under his fingers fluttered once or twice. Fluttered? That jumped once or twice, that triggered once or twice, and then grew stronger and stronger. This man will live in spite of all, he said to Hannah and sighed. Ah, sighed means took a big heave, lambi saans li. Oh, this man will now live. He is out of danger now. The young man woke, so weak, his blue eyes so terrified. His eyes were absolutely terrified. Okay, so I'm taking the question here. When will Dr. Sadao and his wife, what will Dr. Sadao and his wife do with the man? Answer: they will take the man to their house. Sadao would operate upon his body. The question is in will, so I would use will here. Sadao will operate upon his body, took the bullet out, and thus will save his life. Right? This would be the answer. Okay. So, my dear children, I'm going to complete the reading here today, and day after tomorrow, I shall try to complete this chapter, so you'll be ready for that. Okay. It's goodbye now. Thank you very much.